Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well, and welcome to the nightly game plan trade of the week video sponsored by T3 Live. Before we talk about this week's trade, let's take a look at the market, and I am projecting or showing you the daily chart of the QQQ, which is the tracking ETF for the Nasdaq 100. I'm also recording this video on Wednesday the 27th, midday. Again, this is the daily chart of the Qs, and notice the sideways trend we have in the market. I know that once I put the box around it, you could see the trend, the sideways trend, without any issues. But a quick and easy way to tell if a stock or the market is uptrending or sideways is by putting a 20 period moving average on the chart. And if the 20 MA is going through price rather than below it, trending up below it, then you have a sideways trend. And that's really important to know because sideways trends should be treated and played differently from uptrends and downtrends. It's a long discussion, so I won't go into it now, but it's something that I cover in the black room a lot. Let's take a look at the positions that I have open right now. I have EXPR, TIVA, ADTN, and that big loser at the bottom is MASI, MASI. But we'll talk about the MASI. We'll talk about all of them right now. We'll start with the EXPR. And since I took the picture of my P&L, the EXPR is come in a little bit here. It's actually now a little red bar on the daily chart, but I got in it today. I'm not looking to exit today. I'm looking to hold it to maybe $8. My stop is at 642. This is a breakout play on the daily chart that is coming after a nice shakeout, that red bar, and then lower prices were rejected. The stock went back up, went sideways. That's basically a breakdown failure or a shakeout. So I like the EXPR. We'll see what happens over the next few days. The next position is TIVA, and it's a beautiful buy setup on the daily chart that is coming after a professional gap up a couple of weeks ago. My only concern with the TIVA is that it's such a deep pullback. Notice how many red bars in a row here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red bars. And then the other concern is that the setup is a little too obvious. You know, trades that are too obvious don't honestly usually work. Contrary to what most people believe, trade setups that are way too obvious don't have a good success rate. And I can go into this and explain why, but again, it's another topic, so we'll do it maybe some other video, and we'll keep going for now. The third position is ADTN, and it's really starting to move nicely now in my favor. This is also another breakout on the daily chart with a shakeout or a breakdown failure, just like the EXPR, but much better than the EXPR. Because the ADTN has a beautiful weekly setup, weekly buy setup, plus a retest and failure. So I'm really liking the ADTN, and we'll see. But so far, so good. The last position is that big loser, MASI, but it's come in a little bit since I took a picture of the P&L. It's it's coming in a little bit. It's a breakdown also on the daily chart, but the truth is I don't like the daily time frame. What I like about it is the weekly chart, the weekly transition C cell setup. That's a beautiful cell setup that's coming after a big red bar, big breakdown bar. So again, we'll see if this follows through, but I sure hope so. And target on this, $70. Initially maybe 70, and then target 2, maybe 60. I mean, it's got clean air below, no support at all. So this has the biggest potential out of all the positions, and that's why I was willing to take it, even though I didn't really like the setup on the daily time frame. Now, the trade of the week has to be the EFX though. which truthfully was not entered into this week. This is from last week, and I think I showed it in last week's video when I went over my open positions. I had just entered last week when I recorded the video, but I exited this week. I exited my last lot a couple of days ago on Monday. So here's the EFX when I got in it. The average price was 95.84, and I had 262 shares. That's not a lot of shares, but it was sized correctly. It had almost a $4 stop, and I risked $1,000 per trade. So, correct share sizing. This is the daily time frame again, and notice how the stock basically fell off the face of the earth. In 5 days, it dropped from 143 to about $89, $90. That's over a $50 move per share in 4 or 5 days. That's crazy. Now, on the last day, this is the hourly chart, it went climactic. Notice the red bars and then the last bar being the biggest. That's a beautiful range expansion bottoming tail, suggesting that the stock bottomed out. And then notice the climactic volume there. I was actually on the mic in the black room when it went climactic, which would have been the best, most ideal entry for this play. But it was so wild and jumpy that I just had to pass on the play. Luckily though, look what happened a few days later. It went sideways and it set up as a transition A breakout, and I got it. The entry was called in the nightly game plan program in the portfolio spreadsheet over 95.70, but I got some slippage and I got filled at 95.84, and right after I got in it, notice the topping tail? That's me right there. I got in it and it dropped to 93.10. Waited for it to pivot, and then I raised my stop. The original stop on this was 91.88, so it never even came close to stopping, but it's not very nice when right after you get into the play it drops $2, right? $3 almost. But I know how to manage them. So I waited for it to pivot, then raise the stop, and I never got shaken out. The target on this was 111, which is this minor support area on the hourly chart. Nice healthy target, but I'm not sure whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, the stock gapped up, and this was a gap up after 3 or 4 green bars in a row. So basically this was a novice-y type gap, and when I have a novice type gap in my direction, in my favor, I have to take the play. So I exited the majority of it on that gap, and then the third lot, I exited in 3 lots. The last lot I exited a couple of days ago on Monday, and when it gapped up again 1 to 2%. On Monday's gap was pretty small, but still was also novice. Let me now show you the exits on the 5 and the 15-minute chart. This is the gap up day, and it ran up nicely, and I stuck with it until it took out the prior bar's low on the 5-minute chart. So I trailed it basically on the 5-minute time frame, bar by bar, and I trailed out at 101.99. That was the first exit, first lot. The second exit I took, or the second lot I took on a breakout failure. Most breakouts that fail, they don't just break out and then print a big red bar and fail. No, they actually break out, and then after the breakout bar you get an inside bar. See this bar? It stayed inside of the range of the prior bar. You get an inside bar. Now when that happens, I always raise my stop to under the inside bar's low, because if the inside bar's low gets taken out, that breakout probably has a 90% chance of failure. So that was my second exit at 102.91, and then my third lot I took on the gap up on Monday. Notice the huge run up and then a gap up. That's novice. So the third lot was exited at 106.20. Okay, Those were the three exits for the EFX. All in all, this was a very nice trade that made just over $2,000 in 4 days. It didn't make it to target at 111 because I got out a little early, but still, I was able to extract about $8 per share. The average exit was 103.72. And I could have made more if I had held the whole thing on that gap and not exited at all. But hindsight is 2020, and I know that if I get a novice gap in my favor after 2 bars in a row, and I had 3, I have to take it. I'm glad I actually didn't take the whole thing, and I was able to hang on to 1/3 till Monday. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I'm actually going to be out next week, so there won't be a video next week. But I'll talk to you the following week, the week after that. If you'd like to get some information about the nightly game plan program, which is honestly an incredible program, feel free to reach out to customer service or go to our website. Thanks everybody. Hope you have a great weekend and talk to you soon. Happy trading.